You gonna point or?
You'll see your
face.
So I wait for my face before I talk.
Hey, Blitz Week, all this week at start of school, inclusion school, $2,000 grand prize, or lucky ticket, school that sells the most.
Yep.
Kid, you need
I think you would
CPR
ask me
over
to
there?
sell it.
Who fainted out? That's for me.
The boom over the camera shakes.
Even after the logo comes, that's me too.
Yeah, was there, did they pipe the music in or?
We don't hear really much of anything. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Sachem's Football Weekly. We're glad to have you back here this week. This particular week, the guest of the week is trainer Donna Gildersleeve. The Where Are They Now segment will feature the 1983 high school graduate Tom Perrell. The athletes of the week is Dan McGurl, the high school high school junior. Sachem's youth football is Tim Murray. And Winchester Pop Warner is Zach Travellini. This was a full-packed week of high school football, well, football in general in Winchester. We had 6 home games for Pop Warner. We had a freshman football game home, and the varsity was away. And Sachem's FC we had a home and an away game. So plenty of games to cover, which I'm going to go over that right now. And just to recap, we start from the high school and work our way down. So the high school football team lost to Wakefield 33-0. The offensive line played really well, and Connor Campbell had a great game on defense. The Wakefield coach said of the Winchester team that it's a young, upcoming team who hung in there throughout the entire game and has a bright future. The freshman football team lost to Wakefield by a couple of touchdowns. Ryan Kelly had a great game on offense, and Davis Clark made some great plays on defense. Getting into the Sachem's youth football and cheering, their Week 2 game summaries are: they played on Thursday, September 22nd, and the Red Squad hosted and defeated a physical Melrose Red team 22-6. Tim Murray led the offensive attack for the Sachems with 2 touchdowns. The Sachem's youth football Red team is now 2-0 on the season. On Friday, September 23rd, the Sachem's youth football and cheering black team traveled to St. Sebastian's and fell short to a tough 20-8 game. The Sachem's youth football black team is 1-1 on the season. Sachem's youth football red team will host Watertown on Wednesday, September 28th at Manchester Field. The kickoff is at 4 p.m. And the Sachem's youth football black will travel to the River School at 4 o'clock on the 28th. Getting into the Pop Warner, we have the 1E team. They rolled over Saugus in their home opener for the 2011 season. Jacob Flores had 4 touchdowns, and Patrick Dooley led the team in tackles in the convincing 25-13 win. The D-Red team easily handled Saugus 26-0. The second straight week with a shutout for them. Jack McDonald blocked a punt. Charlie Nowell returned an interception for a touchdown, and 3 Sachems found the end zone to improve that team record to 2-1. The C-Red team, Sam Curtin and Matt Scalaro connected for a long touchdown pass, and J.J. Tolentino scored twice as the C-Red team recorded their first win 25-13 over Saugus. The C-Black also secured their first win of the season, a 33-7 victory over East Boston Jets. Chase Kervakis Antonio Andriozzi and Devin Morocco all scored, and Liam Fitzpatrick connected with Francis Dooley on a long touchdown pass for the win. The Deep Black team had an incredible fight in the last game of the day with Zach Travellini, who's going to be on our show tonight, making countless tackles, along with the big games of Nick Burns and Wyatt Wilson, and many others in the tough defeat against undefeated Billerica team. The Pop Warner cheering, Winchester Pop Warner cheerleaders made their debut of the year, the first debut of the year, cheering at all 5 home games down at Manchester Field. They had a special visit and were honorary guests at the Boston College cheering on Saturday at BC's home football game against UMass. They got to meet the cheerleaders and learn some cheers and enjoy the game. That pretty much wraps up all of the Pop Warner games. Next week, I believe they have, I'm not sure, but I think it's Arlington, but don't quote me on that. But I think they're home again this coming week. So if you get a chance to go down on Sunday, please come down and enjoy some football. It's a lot of fun to watch. Our first guest tonight is probably one of the longest people in Winchester football still here, and that's Donna Gildersleeve. Come on up,
Welcome,
Donna.
Donna.
Donna started at Winchester High School back in 1980 for the Winchester High School Athletics. She was trainer for 4 Winchester High School football coaches, Coach Marshall, Donahue, Sobolowski, and now Dembowski. She teaches PE at McCall. Most of her teaching career was spent as a PE teacher at Lynch. She takes care of roughly, well, I think it's over 200 students per season. And she attended Cortland State in Upper New York. Thank you for
Welcome,
coming.
Donna.
Thank you for inviting me.
Well, one thing I'd like to ask, first of all, is how was it, what's the difference between all these coaches? I mean, who were you with the longest? Was it Donahue?
Let me see. Coach Donahue took over, in 1990, I believe. So I was with Coach Marshall for 10 years. And then Donahue was probably close to that same tenure. I think it was like 10, and then Coach Sobolowski was for about 5 years, I believe.
Now, working with some of these kids that, injuries have kind of changed a little bit. You hear a lot of talk about concussions now, and it's something that, a lot of kids and parents have to work with now and try to educate themselves. How did you get yourself educated on what kids can do and how long they stay out? How did that come about?
Well, in college, you studied a lot about that, but the research has changed so much in the 30 years. So I just keep myself up by going to different lectures, conferences, internet, books. I'm constantly reading and studying up on the concussions because really it just changes so much, and now with the new state law, we have certain protocols we need to follow and stuff.
Donna, I think we're one of the first teams in the Middlesex League that started doing the testing. Is that correct?
I believe
For
so.
football?
Brookline may have been before us, but not very much. I think we started the impact testing in, the headminder, I believe, in 1986.
Yeah.
So we were one of the first ones. No, I'm sorry, 96, not 86. So we have been doing it a lot more than any Middlesex League
Right.
team, that's for sure. And it has been a great tool. Unfortunately, a lot of people think that clears them on the concussion. So educating parents and the athletes all about that it's just a tool to help a physician decide if a student athlete is ready to start the protocol to return to play. There's a 5-step period, 5-step process that you need to do once they pass that post-concussion test. So you slowly bring them back, first running, then drill work, before you allow them any physical contact.
Now, personally, I don't think Tom Perrell would have passed that test to begin with.
No.
Well, luckily, there is no pass or fail.
Well, that's good for Tom.
You just take the test and you have your what we call baseline, and then everything is based on that. And then every 2 years, an athlete retakes it and establishes a new baseline as they grow and develop.
Sure. One thing I'd like to know is, now with all the sports have changed, I mean, during the fall, everything used to be outside. Now you've got volleyball in the fall. How do you handle all these sports and getting these kids prepared with, whether they got ankles taped or whatever? It's really just you. So how are you getting it all done?
Well, preparing them is still pretty much the same. It's just a wild frenzy when school ends. Get over here from my teaching duties at McCall and get everybody ready. It's the actual game coverage that's changed a lot now. We have the wonderful AstroTurf, and we play a lot over there. Then we have the volleyball up in the gym, and then we have other games going out or practices out on the regular Skillings fields. Like, for example, today I was over at the turf field with soccer, and we had volleyball up in the gym and football there, and I get a call that there was a football injury. Meanwhile, I was taking care of a cheerleader and a soccer player at the same time over there, and then I get a call that a volleyball player was hurt. So, I just try to coordinate on the phone calls with the coaches. If you think you need the ambulance, get the ambulance. It was a lot easier for me when we were all in one spot, but
Right.
that,
So did the cheerleader hit the soccer player?
I wish, but
No.
both of them were okay.
Well, how do you deal with the kids with their, at 14 to 18 years old? They come with the built-in attitude. How do you have to deal with that on a daily basis? Because some kids probably, they want to play regardless of their injury.
Right.
How do you deal with those types of scenarios?
I'm pretty lucky that the student athletes really will listen to me, and they understand that if I can get them on the field, I will, if it's safe for them. And they do understand that if I say they can't, there is a real reason for that. They still may not like that,
Yeah, right.
but they do understand that I'm doing it for their own well-being, and so that they could be maybe back in the next game. So, knock on wood, that continues, that they still listen and stuff. Plus, they know that I'm the one that tells them you can go back out, and the coach usually won't let them back out unless I've given them the okay and a doctor if
Sure.
necessary.
Donna, what's the most common injury for football that you see on a day-to-day basis?
Well, lately it has been the concussions.
Yeah.
For a long time before that, that was been my biggest thing in soccer.
Yeah.
But now football is becoming that, and I just think it's because the athletes, just like in the NFL, are bigger and
Yeah.
stronger. And before that, mainly it was like, sprains and strains, knees, ankles, shoulders.
Yeah.
But now the concussion is the big thing.
It's amazing because I know the helmets now that you see on front of us, they're all supposed to be concussion proof kind of.
Right.
They're supposed to be better helmets than what we had.
And they certainly are,
yeah.
but there's nothing that's concussion proof ever.
Right,
Nothing will
right.
ever be, because they help the impact, but they don't work on the rotational
The whiplash.
aspect,
Yeah, the
the whiplash
whiplash, that's right.
effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even if you get hit on the side, the brain is floating, in fluid, and it's just sloshing around and banging off the walls of the skull.
And a lot of the kids that have the concussions now, they have to go back and talk to their family physician. and all
Right.
that before they can come back.
I do not clear an athlete on a concussion. That only a doctor. The doctor that they initially saw is the same one that has to clear them, so that we don't have any doctor shopping.
Yeah, right, of course.
And they have to pass the impact test.
Which is your favorite coach to work for?
Oh, boy, you're putting on a spot.
I can't answer that, but I can tell you, I was told to say who my favorite athlete was. Brian Carroll.
Oh, he was an athlete? Is that what you call him? Okay.
Wasn't he the first male cheerleader in Winchester High School athletics?
But Donna,
He didn't have the legs.
Yeah.
we really want to thank you, and thank you for all the time and effort that you put in. You have a lot of programs, a lot of new programs, and I know we appreciate what you do every day.
Well, thank you very much.
Town of Winchester. Thank you very
I
much.
love
Thank
what I
you for
do.
coming.
Thank you so
appreciate it.
much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Don.
Take care.
All right.
Oh, there you go.
Next, what we have now is the Where Are They Now? And this week, we're delighted to have Tom Perrell. Again, he's the 1983 high school grad. He played offensive line and DL for Coach Manny Marshall. Had college interest from Michigan, Boston College, Holy Cross, Penn State, Nebraska, USC, and Syracuse. It came down to Holy Cross, BC, and Michigan. He chose Boston College, and where he was a 1987 grad. When he was at Boston College, he played defensive line for BC and led it in all 4 years. He played in 3 bowl games, the Hall of Fame Bowl, the Liberty Bowl, and the Cotton Bowl. He played with Doug Flutie and Mike Ruth and Bill Romanowski. Tom currently lives in Littleton, with his wife Christine and 3 children. He's an employee benefits practice leader for Tudor Risk in Woburn, Massachusetts. Hey Tom, how are you, kid?
Pat, good to see you.
Good
Tom,
to see
welcome.
Yeah,
Nice to see
Jay,
you, buddy.
great to see you.
We had the fortune, fortunate to play with Tom.
Yeah, both of us, yeah.
Both of us, and if nothing else, he supplied some very good laughs for all of us. And I appreciate you coming out. I know it's coming down, and we have the kids to take care of, so I appreciate it. But I think it's important to have you on because a lot of parents, especially, have dreams of what their kids are going to do when they get older, and you're about as close as you can come to it. And so why don't you tell us about your high school or football experience from youth all the way up through the pros? Because I know you did go on a couple of pro teams as well.
Well, when I first started playing football, when I was, I think, second grade, went out for the first day of practice. Someone hit me, and I immediately walked off the field and said, "This isn't for me."
Did you cry, Tom?
I think I did.
Okay.
I think I cried and walked off the field and walked onto a soccer field for 3 years. And played soccer until finally someone said, "You know what, you're way too big to play soccer. Why don't you play football?" And so I played in 4th grade, played with Mr. Hoffman was the coach.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
And then Pop Warner. And then we played, I played on the B team in the 5th grade and barely made weight. I think I weighed in at 110. And and then they hid me after that. Cause
I can't believe you would make weight with your
well,
size.
yeah, it's hard to believe.
Wasn't your birth weight 110?
Actually, I lost weight. I was about 150, and my parents put me on a diet. But so played on the B team with Bruce Campbell.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Gosh, we had a group of guys that I'm sure, it was all kind of a blur. We played in, we drove down to Pennsylvania, played a team from Pennsylvania that absolutely destroyed us.
Oh, that's funny.
But I think it was the last year that Winchester had Pop Warner up until recently. Because Winchester dropped the Pop Warner program. From there, I didn't play in 6th grade because I was too big. 6th grade, I weighed about 180, 190 pounds and didn't make weight. So it was ineligible to play. 7th grade, went to Belmont Hill.
Hey, Zach, can you imagine tackling him in 6th grade? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So went to Belmont Hill, played freshman ball 7th grade, 8th grade, and then played varsity as a 9th grader. But it was actually going to the Woburn Winchester game in '79.
Yeah.
Jay was playing,
Yeah.
and Lenny Bellino, Gary Rico, and I think there were 25,000 people in the stands.
Yeah.
And,
It's up to 50,000 now.
And it's
Tom.
up to 50
Yeah,
from
every
what I
year it
understand.
grows.
Year goes up
Right,
5,000.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
But so from that point, I made the decision to leave Belmont Hill, come to Winchester, and play on a bigger stage. Played with obviously you and Jay and a lot of great guys.
It's Stephen Costello out there.
Steve Costello,
Mango.
Pat
Pat
Murray,
Murray. Look at there
There's
you
a
are.
picture. You're right
you
there with
are.
Chris Cahill,
and
Cahill.
Chris Cahill.
Timmy's uncle.
Yeah.
Chris is a good friend, great quarterback. Actually, Chris could have been a Division I kicker. Chris was being looked at by a lot of Division I schools, and so he was a heck of an athlete. But from there, was fortunate enough to go to BC, and had 4 great years at BC. Played with some great players, one of which you may know, Doug Flutie. Played with him for 2 years, and then Kicked around the NFL for about a year, year and a half.
What teams did you play for?
Signed with Atlanta out of college. Got cut. Signed with New England. Got hurt. Was put on IR, and then signed with. Got cut at the end of the season and signed with Green Bay. And then Green Bay cut me at the end of training camp and hung up my cleats.
Well, the one good thing that a lot of people, where are they now, have come back, and they're still somewhat involved in football. And Tom has coached from youth through high school. So why don't you talk to us about your coaching background as well?
Yeah. Well, so shortly after college, actually right after, so I got cut from Green Bay. I came back from Green Bay, and I was working with Paul Manganaro. And Paul pulls me into his office and says, "Hey, my brother's playing football down in Providence, and the head coach resigned. They need a new coach." So Steve Costello and I ended up running the defense for the Providence College Friars.
Did you really?
Yeah. So I was a D coordinator, and Steve was my defensive back coach.
Were you unscored upon?
We were scored upon a lot. Actually. We barely had enough guys to field the team. It was a club program, and we played some teams that were going. We played Stonehill, Bentley, Assumption. And actually that was the last. Seems like I play on the last team that ever played or coached. So that was the last club football team that Providence College ever had.
Clearly,
And,
they don't do Curry checks if you guys are coaching.
No, thankfully they didn't. We would have never been asked to coach. But we ended up coaching. Then after that experience, Paul Manganaro and I got the assistant coach's job at Winchester under John Donahue. And we ended up beating Walpole in the Super Bowl in 1990, our first year.
So you guys, when you guys were coaching, you guys went to the Super Bowl your first year.
First year, yeah.
Wow.
If I can, Tom, there's a picture of you when you were a senior. This picture here. See this picture? That's you in the suit jacket and the hat and the sunglasses.
Yeah.
Can you get that? Can you
that's
explain
me.
some of these guys on this team? Well, who's in it?
Well, just to clarify, senior in college, not in high school.
I'm sorry, college. I'm sorry.
Normally, I wouldn't have a pipe in my mouth if I were in high school. This was the defense from Boston College when we played Georgia in the Hall of Fame Bowl in 1986.
Is that Bill Romanowski in the blue shirt?
So we have Bill Romanowski, who obviously had a long NFL career. John Boza, who was a first-round draft pick with the Miami Dolphins. We had Eric Lindstrom, whose two brothers played in the NFL. Steve Williams, who played for the San Francisco 49ers. Ted Gaffney, Mike Degnan,
He's from Winchester now.
local Winchester guy, very good friend. Billy Thompson, very successful, coached at BC and then very successful after coaching is at John Hancock. He's an executive at Hancock. Carl Creshpain, Chuck Gregory, and I think that's it.
It's like the Blue Brothers there.
That was kind of a fun photo that we did when we were
Coming back from church?
yeah, we were just about to go to church and pray for all our sins. We were there for a long time.
Now, somebody like yourself who's had a lot of different coaches and different experiences, what's your favorite experience that you remember from, playing football? Your favorite game, your best game, or tell us about it.
Actually, and I've answered this question before, not on a TV show, but people have asked me kind of what was my favorite experience, and it's without a doubt the greatest game I was ever involved in was the Winchester Walpole Super Bowl game. We were 35-point underdogs, something in that range. I mean, Walpole hadn't lost in 3 years. They were ranked 11th in the country by the USA Today newspaper, and we came in heavy underdogs. I remember when
We
they
had,
came
we had
out.
JR on that team. Of course you were underdogs.
No, JR was on the '86
Oh,
team.
what team-
So
what year was this?
this was Mike Rossio, Brian Jancy, Thompson.
Wow.
Just some great play. Danny McGrath was
McGrath,
our
yeah.
quarterback.
Okay.
And they scored with like first drive of the game, and we ended up holding them off and beating them. I think it was 21-16, and
Wow.
we finished 18th in the country, USA Today.
Well, Tom, we want to thank you for coming. It's
Thank
been
you.
an honor and pleasure having you here and playing with you also. But thank you very much for coming.
A lot of fun.
A lot of
Thanks,
fun.
guys.
Thanks.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Tommy.
All right, guys, when you come
All
on
right.
up.
Basically, what would happens now, we're going to move on to the athletes of the week. As I mentioned earlier in the show, for the high school, we have Dan McGurl. From the Sachem's Youth Football and Cheering, we have Tim Murray. And from Winchester Pop Warner, we have Zach Travellini. Dan McGurl, as you can see, is one of the, I think he's a split end. I'm not sure. I'm just kidding. Dan, talk about a versatile and somebody that's willing to do about anything. This particular week, I think the center went down, so they needed someone to move over to center. And what I love about somebody like Dan, he didn't hesitate. He did it right away. Also for the Sachem's Youth Football, Tim Murray. He's the 8th grade captain. He plays wingback and rover linebacker. He has a pedigree built into Sachem's football on the Cahill side of the family. Timmy, your father was an athlete too. Did he play soccer? No, I'm just kidding. Timmy's dad also played with me as running back. I was a senior, and it was his junior year.
Also, his uncle was an unbelievable fullback.
Right, and your uncle Tommy?
Yeah.
I remember I was his water boy, believe it or not. I was a lot of people's water boy.
I was his punching boy.
And then right down the end there, Zach Travellini, who actually plays on my D team this fall. He had an unbelievable game yesterday at cornerback. He made 8 solo tackles, open field tackles, and 3 or 4 of them were on fourth down when we needed to stop to try to get the ball back. And it was against a very big, physical, undefeated Billerica team. On offense, he plays quarterback. He was under constant pressure all day long, running for his life. But he never slowed down and he never gave up. He pushed right to the very last play of the game, which is something pretty unique in a young man. So I'm glad to have all 3 of you here. Dan, I think the first thing is I'd like to talk about. Tell us about your high school experience, new coach, that you're trying to get used to. How's that going for you?
Well, it's definitely a tough experience. Having one coach for the first 2 years of your high school career, and then switching right away junior year. But it's a change I've tried to take well. I think the whole team has. With a whole new coaching staff, it can be tough, but they've really made a playbook where all of us can learn. And it's not too complicated, thankfully.
Well, I think they're trying to, keep it simple from the beginning.
Yep.
Because what I love about it is it goes from the varsity all the way down to the freshmen. Timmy, I wanted to get to you next. You played for the Coach Manganaro's program.
Yeah.
And what's your favorite part of playing for that program?
Well, I like the coaches and being with my friends all the time. We have practice pretty much every day, so it's fun.
What do you have to, being captain, obviously that's a great honor.
Yeah.
Your friends voted you captain. I think that's great. You're a great kid. But, what's that like, trying to get these kids, because it's 2 teams, it's about 80 kids. It's got to be pretty tough to organize.
Yeah, like after practice, we have to tell kids to bring bags to the pod, which is on the other side of the field.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
it's part of the job. It's
Yeah.
part of learning to be a leader. I get it.
Yeah.
And Zach, why don't you tell me about your experience with the Pop Warner? How's that going for you?
It's fun. It's my 2nd year. Been on your team 2 times.
Yeah,
Is he a
you
good coach?
Yep.
you
I
drew
just
the
like
unlucky
being with
star.
my friends and Brendan and just all my friends. It's a fun experience.
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah.
Okay, you play cornerback and quarterback. What do you like best?
I like cornerback actually, cause I like when everybody gets inside it. When I either like make an open field tackle and stuff.
That's great.
So
What about you, Timmy? You play both sides of the ball. What do you
Yeah.
prefer to do?
I probably like defense better.
Do you?
Yeah.
What about you? What positions you playing? I know they've moved you around, so.
Yeah, I'm playing center now, and I think I'll be center for the rest of the year.
Really? Well, listen, guys, I want to thank you guys for coming. I appreciate you guys coming out tonight. Glorious Pizza. We'll have a gift certificate for you. If you go in and say you're Athlete of the Week, you get yourself a pizza. All right?
That's great, huh?
So make sure you guys, Zach, make sure you take Brendan out for a pizza. Pat, Timmy, you can take my son Pat, and we'll be good. You want to take Aaron? Get my kids fed for the week. But I appreciate you guys coming out. Keep up the good work, because all your coaches have recommended you to come here, so it is a great honor. You guys are definitely representing your programs well. Thank you.
guys.
Appreciate it.